Welcome to Sow Chatty. I'm Kerry from Dog on the Plot.
And I'm Claire from the Farmyard Garden. Merry Christmas, Kerry. Well, happy 1st of December. Do you have an advent calendar?
No, actually, and I need to text Liam because he's going shopping after work and say, get me an advent calendar. I was
What is
kind
your
of expecting...
preferred?
Well, when I arrived here, I was kind of expecting the one that I did drop hints, but clearly they were not taken up. But I do have a
Same.
digital advent calendar.
Yes, as do I, because you sent that to me as well. We haven't had time this morning to look at that. I am so excited.
Yeah, this is it's Jackie Lawson. She does digital cards and she does an advent calendar every year. And me and my mum, we've had one, and my colleague at work, we've been doing them for years, and they're so good. And I've sent one to Claire this year.
I have
So we'll see if
decorated
you
my
like
tree.
it. Yes,
It's
there's a little
lovely.
digital tree to decorate and things like that. But no, I can see though that Claire, you are in full festive mode.
I'm making an effort. I am, yes, I am. I've got lots of festivities around me. I have bought so many Christmas jumpers and T-shirts this year. And I'm like, it's only, 25 days? And then I won't be, I might be interested in Boxing Day, but then my interest wanes for wearing Christmas things. But,
Well, I was going to say, because I am clearly not awfully Christmassy, I have put a few fairy lights on
looks
Liam's little dragon
beautiful.
plan. And we did say we would wear our Christmas jumpers, and I am wearing a Christmas jumper. I was just, look,
Oh,
there's my
yes.
penguins. But it's
I love how
subtle.
you say that.
Oh, yeah. Apparently I say penguins funny. But I was thinking though, because this jumper had its debut. This was the debut knitted jumper on my channel. The very second episode,
Oh.
I was planting garlic on the new plot, and the old plot now. And this was the jumper that I was wearing at the time.
They are beautiful.
But what I was going to say is that I don't get into Christmas mode until next weekend, really. So
Right.
So I'm going subtle. I've also gone for a subtle Christmas mug because we promised Christmas jumpers and Christmas mugs. So this is mine. I mean, it is beautiful.
It is a
You
beautiful
can
mug.
see my hot chocolate. I've gone decadent because it's a decadent mug. So I've got chai and hot chocolate in this one. But yes,
lovely.
it's just got a little robin. So it's not really Christmassy, but
well, I've kind of stayed on trend with a Sow Chatty mug, but I got the chalk pens out and I've made it a Christmas Sow Chatty mug. Look at that.
I know. I went to look at what chalk pens I had because I was like, yeah, let's do matchy ones. But all mine were pastel colours. So that was no good. I couldn't have a pink Santa hat, I don't think.
I went to Bent's Garden Centre yesterday in Warrington. If anyone lives local enough to go there, it was an hour's drive for us. It was out of this world, like over the top, proper Christmassy. They've even got Christmas market stalls inside there, the market, street food and things. It was absolutely brilliant. But what I was going to say to you then is there's a lot of pastel colours this year on Christmas trees. So you could have gotten away with a pastel coloured Christmas hat.
Could have been on trend. But,
you could have been very on trend, yes.
Yeah, it's not something I'm used to, so I shouldn't really try and start now. What about our promises from last week? I think mine was to plant garlic. Clearly, I've continued not to do that. And to bring in the lemon tree, which I did do just before we went live on Wednesday. I went out in the dark. My security light at the back of the house doesn't reach to that far in the garden. So I was just kind of going through the raspberry and blackberry bushes to try and find it and pull it out. But it is safely tucked in the lean-to now. And it looks all right. The leaves are a little bit yellowing, but I shall give it a repot and a feed at some point.
Excellent.
What was yours? I can't remember now.
I can't remember either. Did I say I was going to plant some bulbs? I don't know, but I did do that. And I think I might have said I was going to clear away some of the frosted mush that was around, and I have done that as well. So not all of it. I think your term in your video on Saturday was everything was a slimy mess, and my term was everything is a mushy mess.
Yeah, when I went to the plot this weekend and started clearing, it was like mushy mess. I was going around in my head because we'd said it to each other so many times. Mushy mess, mushy mess. What's hot in your plot this week then, Claire?
Nothing, Kerry. It just looks brown and barren. I can't stand the wood chip paths this time of year because they're as dark as the soil, so they don't have this like pretty definement around the plot. So there's nothing hot. It's all wet, flooded. Doesn't look good at all.
Yeah, I was going to say about the wood chip paths because Becky, my cousin, came to visit me in the greenhouse on the weekend, and she was moaning, and she would admit she was very much moaning about her wood chip paths because they need refreshing and the expense of getting wood chip to do that, and she would kind of been putting it off. And I told her to watch your video because it only just released that morning, but I'm sure she would be watching it later, Claire. And what you were doing was shoveling the rotted wood chip onto the tops of the beds as a mulch, and because it pretty much composted down. It looked lovely. Stuff.
And I did that last year in the garden as well, and it worked a treat.
You got membrane under yours, whereas I had cardboard. So I think it just kind of goes into the soil, and you just kind of have to keep putting it on top then. But I'll have a closer look. I think my hot is that I finally dug out the raspberry canes that weren't performing from the front garden. An easier job than I thought it was going to be because of all the rain that we've had. So it was still hard work, but they pulled out way easier than they would have if I'd tried to do it in the summer. And the hot part is that it's left this big space. It's like, I've got a space to plant in. And now I'm thinking,
going there?
Well, Claire, what is going there? I saw you said that if your dahlias didn't make it over winter, you were going to change those beds into rose beds. And I'm thinking,
Coco Loco
on the front.
Isn't that the one you like? Coco Loco?
I do like Coco Loco. Yeah. I saw Rose Garden Press had put that their bare root roses were ready to pre-order, and I did have a look because I knew she sold that one in the past, but it wasn't on the list.
Oh no.
What about your knot then for this week? I guess you started with your knot when I asked about your hot.
I did really, because there is no hot. It's all not at the moment. I'm being mean, aren't I, really? My hot in the garden has got to have been the harvest, isn't it? The winter harvests are still there. So it was really good to see the parsnips, the Swedes, the beetroot are still looking amazing. And I'm just overwhelmed, really, that, the garden can still give even in December. So, that really is my hot.
I mean, what a magnificent parsnip. And I think we have to do over the screen a comparison between the parsnip that you pulled up this week and the little dumpy parsnip that I dug up this week. I can't think really how it got there. Did one go to seed and go in there? I don't know. Well, my knot for this week is the rain. I think you would agree with this, Claire, that the rain has made the last couple of weeks so difficult for gardeners. Martine gave us a question for this week asking about how we deal with the rain at the moment. Mostly we complain about it to each other, and not just going out and doing all the jobs that we want to get done before winter really sets in, but filming as well and trying to have content each week, which is really tricky when, I mean, for me, I'm working all week and now we've got the shorter days. It's not like you can do anything in the evenings. No. So if I wake up on a Saturday morning to the sound of rain, I'm just like, and it's happened the last 2 weeks in a row. And of course, your time is squeezed now as well, looking after your mother-in-law. And it's just really hard to kind of find the gaps in the rain to go out when you're not already committed to do something else.
To answer Martin's question, how do I deal with the rain? I don't. I choose to stay in the house and ignore it and hunker down.
I try not to think of myself as a fair weather gardener, and I will put on the layers and go out when something needs doing. But it's been so awful lately.
Yeah.
And it's not just the rain, it's the cold and the wind as well. So, but we just have to keep looking for those windows, don't we, of opportunity. And what I have found, actually, to answer Martine's question, is that when you do see those opportunities, like really force yourself to go out there and do a power hour, because that's what I did when I took the raspberry canes out. It's like, the sun is shining, quick, get the kit on, do a power hour and you just get something done and it makes you feel so much better.
Absolutely.
And you often just sort of generate momentum and then go on and do another job like mulching your dahlias. What have you brought for your show and tell then, Claire?
I haven't bought anything for show and tell because I'm going to show and tell all of the little things that are Christmas gift ideas around me. But what I will show that I'm going to kind of jump the gun for Christmas gifts is because I have something for you here, Kerry. And it is a Christmas decoration. And you may have already spotted it, but I have bought you, and I will give this to you next time I see you, a little dory tree decoration.
Aww.
In fact, I might post it to you so you get it in plenty of time. But I
yes,
thought
I'll be trimming my tree at the weekend.
Right.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Claire.
We shall have a little, there you go, little dory watching us, a dog on the plot moment on the tree behind me. So that's my show and tell.
Well, I have quite a miniature schnauzer theme for my Christmas tree, so that will be very welcome. It will be very on theme. Well, for my show and tell, I have, well, it has to be, and there's only half a jar left, which tells you how much I have enjoyed the cowboy candy. So I have been saying that I'm going to make cowboy candy with my chilies for weeks. Then I keep forgetting and dehydrating the chilies. And then I can't do it. So I did my final harvest of chilies just before the frost hit. And I held them back because I knew I wanted to make this. This is Audrey's recipe. So Audrey at Real Food Comes Dirty. She swears by this stuff. She says it's amazing. Ali from The Right Pair Plot had made it and said that it was really gorgeous. And I just had to do it. So I made it. It had to wait for a week so that all the flavors kind of mellow in the sweet brine. And then I tried it and oh my God, it's a revelation. Like, I don't grow massively hot chilies because I don't like really spicy chilies, but they have heat, they are chilies.
Yeah.
And when you make the cowboy candy, it just mellows all of that heat. And so it's just fruity and kind of sweet sour. It's just absolutely delicious. And I do not think that I have eaten a meal since I made it without putting cowboy candy on it.
I did choke when you lifted the lid up and sniffed in the steam when you'd just cooked the chilies. I could tell that was hot by the way you afterwards. Yeah, that was hot. But yeah, and it was easier to make than I thought because I hadn't really looked at the recipe. I hadn't even looked at it because I didn't think it was something that the family would eat. So, I was quite ignorant to how easy it was to make. So definitely on the list for next year. Then I was thinking, I've not got room for any more chilies and peppers. Then I thought, but I haven't I? Because the chilies go in the greenhouse and there's no patio fruit trees in there now. So there's a bit of extra space in there now. So
Good
yes,
point.
I could do some more chilies.
I had said I wasn't going to grow chilies next year because I grew so many this year and I've got plenty of powdered now chilies. And now I'm like, well, I'm going to have to grow loads of chilies so I can make loads of cowboy candy and water bath it so that it's shelf stable as well, because I haven't done shelf stable. I've just done the 2 jars this time. That's all I had of chilies, because you need a big volume of chilies to make this. So I was also thinking I'll have space though, because I've got I'm only doing half as many tomatoes next year, as you know, and I'm going to
we'll see.
She says. So I'm thinking if I do the tomatoes at the kind of back of each bed of the polytunnel, then I can put peppers and chilies in front of them. And then I can grow loads and loads. But I'm going to really choose my varieties carefully. So Audrey uses jalapenos to make her cowboy candy. I just used all the chilies that I had. But the nice big chilies that I had was serrano, the kimchi chilies, and I do like the lemon drop. They're not huge, but they're really productive.
Yeah.
So I was thinking I need to go for those chilies, whereas some of the ones I grew this year were teeny tiny fruits, which just felt kind of hardly worth doing and a bit of a pain to harvest as well. So yes, my plans for next year are already changing because now I'm going to grow a load of chilies just to make cowboy candy. Any daft things this week?
Well, I always do daft things, don't I? I've done one daft thing. As a compulsion, I bought something really gaudy. I'm not sure that the plug will reach far enough, but can you see my little Merry Christmas sign that I was going to have on the screen? And then I couldn't get it to fit on the screen behind me. My head was cutting it off. So, and this was £40, Kerry. It was
No
£40
way.
of daft, £40 of daft things.
Well, you
I
can't have
walked
that as your
past it.
bargain of the week.
No, it's
My
not a bargain.
goodness.
I walked past it 3 times yesterday when we were at Bent's, and I kept saying, "Oh, I really like that sign. I really like that sign." And then I'm like, "No, I'm not spending £40 on a neon sign. It's ridiculous. Like, how old am I? It's ridiculous." And for something that's only up at Christmas as well. And then it was literally right as we were heading to the till. It was like it was a subconscious. My arm just went and snatched one off the shelf and put it in the trolley.
I've
Because
seen
I'd
you do
walked past
this.
it. I'm terrible, aren't I?
You are.
And then
Now, this is
obviously,
because you went shopping with your sister, who's obviously more of an enabler than me, because if we had been shopping
absolutely.
together, there's no way I would have allowed you to buy that.
No, I'd have had to have come home and ordered it from Amazon or the
Yes.
likes because you wouldn't have let me buy it while we were there. So that's my daft thing because it's not even me. It's not my kind of thing. And I was just so swept up with all of the hullabaloo around the garden centre yesterday. It really was amazing. Honestly, can't recommend going enough to anyone that lives in the area. So yeah, that's my daft thing. What about you? Because we know you always have a daft thing.
I cannot think of one.
What?
I was trying to think of something this morning, and I don't think I've done a daft thing. I thought, did I use my daft music in my video last week? No, didn't use my daft music. So I think I've been entirely sensible, Claire.
That's daft in
I know,
itself,
it's
isn't
unknown.
it?
I guess my daft thing and my bargain of the week are kind of slightly intermingled because I did not spend £40 on a daft Merry Christmas neon sign, but I did spend another 50 quid on bulbs. Although I'm saying that, and you surely bought bulbs while you were at the garden centre this weekend.
I bought a lot of bulbs and they were 75% off.
It's funny this year, there do seem to be sales on bulbs this year, whereas
earlier than normal.
Well, last year I felt like everything just sold out and there weren't any kind of sales because I rely on the sales, clearly. Frugal person that I am. And yeah, maybe it wasn't such a great year last year and there wasn't so much to sell. I don't know. But I spent just over £50 on Farmer Gracie. Obviously, I already have whole bundle of Farmer Gracie bulbs to sow, and I now have a whole load more that are on their way. But you can't resist. So I think they were up to 70% off. And I mean, some of them. So one of the ones that I bought is Allium Molly, and that was the cheapest thing that you could buy on Farmer Gracie's site over the Black Friday
flowers,
weekend.
aren't they?
They are yellow, but bear with me, Claire, because they're a small allium with a sort of very traditional allium head, but yellow, but they're delicious. So they're not sold as an edible, but all alliums are edible, but they're just, some taste better than others. But the molly tastes amazing. So last year I said to Mum, because she had a few coming up in her garden that I must have given her, I'm like, taste that. You'll really like it. And she couldn't believe it. So yes, that's my recommendation. If anyone's yet to, I don't know how long the sale's going on now, though. It might be finishing before, I think it's still on today, but it might be finished by Wednesday. But anyway,
of course.
I've got 50 of them coming.
Wow.
I think I bought everything in like bulks of 50 of like the alliums and the smaller bulbs and stuff.
But it sounds a lot when you're buying them, but when you put 50 bulbs in the ground, especially the molly bulbs, because they're so little, unless you want a thin, stringy row of flowers, you need to have a big cluster of them. Otherwise, they just look a bit puny, don't they? So,
well, that's what I'm going to do, like you were, plant them in a little cluster, because essentially I'm planting this as a crop. That's my intention, is to eat them with salads and things. So.
See, I'm not quite there yet, Kerry. I don't think I'm the only one that's not quite there in a colourful salad that includes flower heads. I don't know why I can't bring myself to eat flowers.
Really? Not even like a nasturtium?
Nope.
Calendula?
They have never passed my lips. No.
I just viola on the top of a cake?
No. I would take it off. I wouldn't mind it decorating the cake, but then that would be left on the plate when I'd finished. I'd go,
I
oh,
think
how pretty.
I think I told this story before when my nephew Francis came and I was looking after him for an afternoon and I made him lunch. And when his mum picked him up, he's like, "What did you have your lunch?" And he's like, "Kerry gave me like a sandwich of flowers." But he loved it, really. He loved going around the garden and we were looking which ones are edible and he can put in his sandwich. Other thing that I bought on Black Friday and is your fault, Claire, is new equipment. I bought a new camera, mic. I finally bit the bullet and upped my game in terms of my recording equipment.
You will not look back.
I've bought exactly what you've bought. So
Yeah.
you could tell me what I needed. And also when I get confused about how to use it, I can ask you.
So straightforward. and and obviously this camera is now waterproof, whereas, I mean, my phone is supposed to be waterproof, but I don't like it getting that wet. Compared to buying a new phone, if you damage it, the camera is cheap.
Yeah. And that was my fear, really, because I knocked the tripod over. You've got muddy hands all over the phone and things like that. And so this is quite a rugged bit of kit, isn't it? So I can throw it around the plot and it'll be fine. I'm not going to.
And how many times have we been texting each other and you've gone, oh, the weather's, again, there's a bright spot in the weather, and then you look at your phone and it's on 20%, and you've got to wait for an hour or so to charge your phone before you can go out and film. Whereas you don't have that now. Your camera, hopefully, you'll remember to keep it topped up, but it's just ready to go then.
Yeah, I think so. And also because one of the things I found really difficult with the harvest system and filming the sprinklers going was that you control it on your phone.
Oh, yes.
But I needed to film with my phone, so I couldn't. And so I had to charge what they call tablet that I've had for years and years and no longer is like updated with any iOS programs or whatever, but it can use a camera, and I had to hold the tablet while I did the phone to record it. But yes, won't be having those issues anymore. It's quite exciting. I haven't actually started using it yet because I'm a little bit scared.
Don't be scared.
We'll have a tutorial, Claire.
Okay.
Okay, well, I think that leads us into our main topic for this week, which is our Christmas gift guide, which is very exciting. We decided to do it right at the beginning of December to give people time to get inspired or decide what it is they want to ask Santa for. And so, yes, there's plenty of lead-in to Christmas. And we are going to go through and think about what we've had in the past and really liked, what we're asking Santa for this year, and then some other ideas inspired by the comments that we've had from you on our community page as well. Okay. Also, I did ask what people's worst gifts were, and I do have one for this. So don't let me forget at the end, Claire, to do the worst gift as well. Okay. Oh, and we should mention that we do have a giveaway coming up. Another giveaway, a huge giveaway. And
you don't want to miss this one.
We will be telling all at the end of the episode, but we also wanted to mention that Joanne's giveaway arrived and she put a picture up of it on the community page. So it was really nice to see that it arrived in time, because obviously with the advent calendar, she'll be opening the first doors.
Yes, congratulations, Joanne.
Okay, so Claire, what's been your best Christmas gifts that you've received in the past?
I mean, my best Christmas gifts are probably not gardening related, so we'll stick on theme.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes.
My best Christmas gardening gifts, last year I was bought this.
Oh,
I need to back up to get this in the picture.
Was that only last year?
Yeah, Isabel bought me this last year.
I feel like you've had it ages.
No, this is last year. So this is personalised trug, a vegetable trug that Isabel bought for me from a company called Lol and Dean Timber. And they're on Etsy. I mean, I'm assuming they still make them. And I just love it. Oh, look, there's a little creepy crawly bug on it because I've brought it in from outside. And
Claire had to clean this very quickly before we started filming.
It's not that clean, but it's been well used. I have used it all year. So it's not just a decorative trug. I have used it all year. And if you have one of these made, you can decide what vegetables you have put on the front of them and obviously what writing you have. Mm-hmm. And Isabel knew when she bought me that And so in fact, maybe it was the year before, because the reason it doesn't have my channel name on it was because I was already debating changing from the Veg Plot Thickens to something else. So maybe it was the year before, because
I think you've had it longer than a year. Yeah. Obviously, I also have one of these.
You do.
And it wasn't a Christmas present, it was a birthday present from you, Claire. And mine is personalised with not only Dog on the Plot on one side, but Kerry and Dory on the other side. And you were you asked me, didn't you, what vegetables I wanted painting on mine. And I was like, I have to have a pumpkin, I have to have garlic.
I thought, I mean, it's nice to buy the surprise, but also I wanted you to have a trug that you really wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to have something that you weren't pleased with. So I wanted you to pick the colour codes. And
you
can have these in many different colours. Yeah. So I wanted you to choose the colours that you wanted it in as well. So yeah,
but I'm terrible because I don't use mine. Not because I don't love it, because I love it too much and I don't want to put dirty vegetables in it. So mine
is done really well.
Well, when you were saying you were washing it, and I was like, oh yeah, I could, use it and wash it. But I tend to have it in the kitchen. I've took it to the plot a couple of times because it's so lovely to have on the video as well. But I tend to keep it in my kitchen and like have apples or potatoes or something like that.
Basket.
So it's still using. I am, Claire. I am. It's just a really fancy, expensive fruit basket. But I love it. I think it's absolutely great. But so one of the things for gifts is trugs. I think lots of us really like trugs, and I have some more of a classic baskety one here.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I love this. It's a really nice one. And these are great because you can pick them up from charity shops. So you can have quite a bargain little Christmas gift with a nice trug like that. I'm always looking out for more trugs. I have far too many now.
Several. Yeah. The only thing I would say about this one and your one is for storing them, if you want to try and stack them, obviously the handles don't go down on these two, do they? So I've got a few where the handles open and you can sort of put them inside each other. But no, they are beautiful. Gardeners love a trug. And, you can obviously fill that trug with something else as well. So you can put a few little gifts and things in there if you wanted make it like a gardener's hamper. Yeah.
Oh, that's a lovely idea, Claire.
It is.
Liam's dad's a carpenter, and I'd asked Liam for a trug one year, and this must have been when I first started gardening, and so he asked his dad, and I thought his dad was going to make me one, but he didn't in the end. But he got me one of those long ones, and it's great. It's a really nice trug, and I do use that quite a lot as well. But last year he made me, or was it the year before, a flower press. So he actually made that, and it's so beautiful, and it's so nice to have something that was handmade by somebody. So I really like that. But I did quite a lot. It must have been the year before, because I did a lot of flower pressing last summer. But this summer, I think because it's just been so dry and everything's been so crazy, I didn't do much. And I had been thinking, I need to do some quickly before we lose all the flowers. But I think I've missed my chance. So I have to have renewed effort next year for doing a flower press. But you can buy little flower presses. I had one when I was a kid, and I used to use that all the time. Then it might be a good way of getting kids who like crafts and things into gardening as well. Well, talking about sort of homemade gifts and things. So we had a lovely Christmas last year in that we were making homemade gifts for each other and our kind of YouTube friends. We did a little secret Santa between us, but everything had to be homemade. So Nick from That British Homestead insisted that everything had to be homemade. And my secret Santa was from Ali and Trisha at the Right Pair Plot. And I wanted to show just a couple of the things that they sent to me because they're absolutely incredible. So Ali, who had never done this before, so she learned how to do this for my gift, and she made this.
It's just phenomenal, isn't it?
It's just beautiful and amazing. Phenomenal. So I was really, really touched by that.
I regretted having such a big channel name after I saw that, because I thought, what a great idea that would be. And then I thought, too many letters, Claire, too many letters.
And she made little plant labels for me as well. And then Trisha made this. Now, some people have been saying in the comments about the little half apron that I wear on the plot, the purple one, which some people have been asking me where I got it from. Well, it was from Aldi like 10 years ago or something. So it's not something you can get hold of now. Claire and I have been looking into whether we could get a Sow Chatty one made, but so far we've not cracked that yet.
No.
But last year, Trisha made me this. It's a little half apron with embroidery along the bottom. Got little pockets.
Gorgeous.
As well. Can you see the pockets?
I can.
There we go. I'll put my hand in it. But I never use it because it's just too pretty. It's like the trug. So even to bake, I feel like I would get this too messy. So yes, I just now and again I get it out and look at it and admire it. And don't use it. I'm terrible for that. Really, you should just use things, shouldn't you? Any other gifts then, Claire, that you've had in the past that you've really liked?
Well, I could recommend this for people if they don't have one. This is a great gift for gardeners, is a wildlife camera. Now, Duncan bought me this several years ago for many different reasons. One was to keep an eye on the horses, and then I have had. I think this is the third one we've got because they've been sort of put around the farm in different places over the years. But he has bought me another one to put on the vegetable garden, and at the time it was to see what was going in the polytunnel. So we were using it for true surveillance purposes to see what was eating things in the polytunnel. It was, of course, a rat. I mean, as if I needed confirmation. Touch wood, not had that this year. And I know people put them up for security as well if they're worried about things going missing on their allotments. I don't really have that issue so much where I am. But I have loved seeing the wildlife coming onto the garden. So, yeah, definitely, I would recommend a wildlife camera to people. And they're relatively inexpensive.
Liam, I don't know. We have a different concept of what's expensive.
They range in prices, let's just say.
They range in price, yeah. So Liam got me one year, and this was when foxes were. I had a family of foxes in the garden, and my goodness, did they run rampant around my plot. This is the home garden, and it was really hard to grow anything that year because the foxes just dug everything up. They peed on everything, pooped on everything. But I was not sorry because it was just so wonderful to see them in the garden. But I could only see them like when I glimpsed them at night when the security camera came on and they were drinking out the pond or whatever. So with the wildlife camera, I could pop it in different places around the garden each night. And I got some absolutely amazing footage. And it was so lovely. My issue with the wildlife camera, and I don't know if yours are like this, they take 8 AA batteries. It's a lot of batteries. And I have got a battery recharger thing, so I can swap them out. But I did find that all the batteries, the 8 batteries that I bought for this, I then ended up using another thing, it went in the remote control for the TV or the Christmas tree lights or whatnot. And I was always like struggling to find the batteries to put in it and to put it out. Right, other things then. So I forgot to bring, because I'm at Liam's, I forgot to bring the T-shirt that he got me last year, which was a gardening themed T-shirt that you can also personalise. And he'd got Dog on the Plot and Dory on there. I was so chuffed with that. It was very thoughtful and nice. The other thing, and all my ones are from Liam, but this is one that he got me last year, I think. And I know you have one of these too, Claire.
Do I?
And it's the little greenhouse tree decoration.
Oh, yes. Sorry. If people don't know, the internet lags a little bit. So you went really grainy then and I couldn't see anything. Yeah, mine's on the tree. Mine is on the tree. Look, there you go.
Yours is a little bit bigger than mine, isn't it? I think I've got a smaller one.
Yes,
this one's
different.
Sarah Raven, this one.
Oh, no, mine's just from the local garden centre.
Okay.
You bought me this one, Kerry. You bought me the parsnip. You're such a happy
Claire
parsnip.
has you have a light colour theme for your big Christmas
and
tree,
gold
don't
on
you?
my tree. Yeah.
So I had to choose the one that would go with your colour theme.
Go the best. Yes, and I have a watering can here. and I have a trowel here. I'm sure you can see this one. And then right down here, I have a snowy garden shed.
Oh, I'd
So
like
I'll
a
need
shed.
You can go bigger than that if you want to send someone a Christmas decoration, because I also have
Wow.
this. Isn't that beautiful?
Polytunnel. Is it meant to be a polytunnel or a greenhouse?
I feel like it's a bit in between. It's more like Mayu's
Yeah.
greenhouse, isn't it? But look, you can see straight
Yeah.
inside, and the
Oh,
Christmas
wow. And
tree
it
is
goes
revolving.
round.
Yeah. And I love
Now,
this.
that's not one that you build yourself, though.
No.
No, because you can get those, can't you? That
Yeah, you can.
you construct yourself. I like the look of those. I would like to have a go at one of
I
those.
bought one for Emily. So I bought Emily the flower
Oh,
shop
okay.
last year for Christmas. And it's still in the box because she opened the box and it is the most fiddly thing to build.
I was going to say, how complicated are they?
Yeah. She said it was very fiddly, and I don't think it's that she's not going to do it, but it's she hasn't made one of those yet. So if you've got someone that has a lot of patience, those kits are absolutely amazing. But
Yeah.
they are my main Christmas garden gifts. But I mean, you obviously have the journals, don't you? And I have been bought those in the past, but
Yes.
I think I should leave the journal bit to you. A gardening journal is a really good gift. Look at that.
So I think the very first one I got of these was actually a birthday gift. So it was in readiness for Christmas. And then the year after, this was from my neighbour, whose dog I sometimes walk, Ben, who's the other miniature schnauzer. So she got me it, and then she got me another one the next year at Christmas. And then ever since, I've bought myself them because I just love them so much. I think they're super pretty. I mean, look at that dahlia.
Look
at that dahlia.
gorgeous.
But the photography in it is just really, really beautiful. And it's a nice setup. So you've got properly kind of dated pages, and it's a week spread. So there's plenty of room. There's a little note section. But then at the start of every month, you get a beautiful picture. And then it tells you the things that you should be doing. You get a recipe, the things that you can harvest, and the different flowers and things like that. And it's just a real pleasure to use, and I think makes a really lovely gift for somebody who wants to be organised, Claire, and likes to keep a record of their gardening year.
I think
so
that's
I
a lot
highly
more
recommend that one.
That is more than just a journal, though, isn't it? I mean, when I look at the things that I've had that have been very generic, that is actually quite good. Because obviously, leading on from that, you can also buy planting calendars for people, can't you?
Yes.
Because you've had the Charles Dowding one, haven't you? And
it's I think Liam's dad got me that, and I like it. In the end, I just didn't feel that my dating times were quite in line with the ones that he was suggesting. So I've sort of gone kind of away from that. But I always do get a calendar that is gardening themed in some way. But there's so many to choose from, because what's the woman who does your mug, your expensive mug?
Oh, Emma Bridgewater, sorry.
That's
yes. Emma
Oh,
Bridgewater.
well, I should know Emma Bridgewater, because in our What We're Asking Santa For segment, which we will go into now, at top of my list is a bare root David Austin rose, and I want the Emma Bridgewater one.
Right. You have been coveting that all season, haven't you?
I know. And I told you I was going to ask for something that I hadn't told you that I was going to be mentioning this, but I sent Liam a link to the David Austin website the other day, and then I may have mentioned last night, if you do buy me that and it comes, you need to keep it in the garage it can stay in the garage for like 3 weeks in the packaging and it'll be fine. I didn't want to be like, right, as soon as it arrives, you need to heel it in the garden and things like that, because I know then it would never happen. So yes, he was like, okay, I won't order it just yet then. But that's the one I want, the Emma Bridgewater, because when we went to David Austin with Jane and we were walking around and we sniffed every single rose that they grow, the one that kept catching my eye and I kept going, oh, that one, was the Emma Bridgewater. Every single time we passed it, or because the roses are repeated. throughout the different gardens at David Austin, and we were trying to pick our favourites, weren't we?
Yeah.
And every single time I saw it, I was like, that one, oh, it's the Emma Bridgewater one again. So yes, I'm hoping that that's what I'm going to be getting for Christmas.
So is
What about
Emma
you?
Bridgewater going to go in the front garden then?
Well, I think she might have to, because I've got no room left in the back garden. So yes,
I've
I
been
could
telling you for
save a
ages, though,
space.
that I know you've perennialising the garden, but I've been telling you for ages that your front garden would make a beautiful rose garden.
It would.
It
And
would.
now that I know how good the soil is there as well.
Mm.
But yes, it was amazing how much room those raspberries that weren't producing were taking up. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
huge kind of space. So yes, something beautiful along that wall, I think. And I think the rose would do really well there, because you get the heat reflecting off the wall as well. It's quite a little microclimate there, because it's south facing as well. Come on then, Claire, what are you asking Santa for?
I would never say no to a pair of gloves. And I love gardening related things. So if someone bought me a gardening t-shirt, some gardening socks with vegetables on them, I like the funny things like that, the humorous things, or a sweatshirt, that I would never say no to that. So yeah, I'm quite easy to buy for. What I have also noticed that I don't have is gardening jewelry. So you can get a necklace that's got a watering can on it, and you can get earrings that are trowels and little forks and things. So there's loads of options, even for jewelry as well, if you want to have some jewelry bought for you.
Well, it's surprising how many people said in the community post that what they would ask Santa for is some help in the garden.
Yes.
So with whatever job that it might have been. So yeah, I don't have anyone to ask that for. Maybe the elves will come over Christmas and clear my plot for me. I had another couple of things on my list that I'm asking Santa for. I can't remember if I mentioned this last week. The gorilla garden carts.
Oh, yeah.
So because I was thinking I might get it for Black Friday, but they haven't gone down that much, so I'm keeping my eye out. And but I want one like a really sturdy one where the edges can come down as well. But I just want something that I can pull back and forth from the plot without always having to take the car down, because sometimes it's just there's just too much to carry. But to take the whole car, and because it's only like literally round the corner, it seems a lot. And you know what I really don't like? This is my real bugbear about our allotment plot. It's the opening the gate. Like, if you're just slipping in, you can just kind of unlock the lock and kind of get round. But if you're bringing the car in, I've moaned about this before, haven't I? You get out of the car, you open the gate, you've got to do both of the big gates, put the bricks down so they don't bash in onto your car, drive through, get out again, shut the gates, lock them up, get it back in the car, and then drive down to the plot. It's a faff. And I feel like sometimes if I've just got a few potted plants to take down, my trug or harvest to bring home, if I had one of these gorilla carts, I could just wheel it up and down. The lady across the road from me has got one, and I watch her enviously as she goes by with hers. She probably looks at me enviously going down in my car because she doesn't have a car. But so that's on my list. And the other thing, and I think we want to talk about books anyway, but there's a foraging book that has come out. I'll put it on the screen. The guy who writes it has a YouTube channel. I'll put that on as well. But it's a very nice book, and there's been a lot of good reviews of it. Unfortunately, it seems to have gone out of print on Amazon at the moment, so I don't know if I'll be able to ask for it for Christmas, but it's definitely on the list. So I love a book at Christmas, Claire. Do you?
I'm not a huge reader, but I do read the gardening books, and I would have three main books that I would personally recommend. And I think I've mentioned this one before, only last week, wasn't it? I think Dexter was pictured trying to get at me.
Oh, yeah,
and
this
is the Allotment month by month book. This book is brilliant. It's an invaluable resource, and it goes through all of the various jobs that you need to do for the month, what needs to be planted. But then to back those up, the other two books that to me are invaluable are these expert books. So I have the Vegetable Expert and the Fruit Expert books. And
I don't know these books, Claire.
They do a range of these. So there's the Greenhouse Expert as well. I think my sister bought me that actually for Christmas last year. But these books go into far more detail than the month by month books. So these books will give you information on each thing that you want to grow, in terms of how to grow it, how to start it, how to grow it. It details all of the diseases, specific diseases that these
Okay.
plants can get, and how to treat them, how to recognize them, how to treat them. And it is just invaluable for that, even with the descriptions on how to prune things, how you should be training things. And I absolutely love these books. So between these 3 books, that is my encyclopedia for the entire vegetable garden. There's nothing that I mean, sometimes I'll be on the garden, so I will obviously Google first, because if I don't have the book with me. But if you have these books with you, there's nothing you can't find out that you need to know in all 3 of these books to get your garden done. These expert books, they are honestly top notch. And these are old. These are some of the earlier editions. The covers don't look quite the same as this now. So I haven't even bought these new. I've looked for these secondhand. And yeah, absolutely brilliant books.
Okay. I have the month by month one, and I always use the month by month one when it's time to prune the fruit trees. And I take that book out into the garden when I do it. So, but I actually have one I prefer to the month by month, and that's called the Allotment Source book. It's a big book.
It is.
This was from my dad. I'm not sure if it was Christmas or birthday, but the reason I like this one is it has a similar kind of setup to the month by month one, but there's loads of information at the beginning of it as well about just how to garden and the different styles of gardening. So I think I showed one of these pages when we were talking about the victory gardens. So it talks about no dig, it talks about victory gardens and all permaculture gardens. So all different kinds of gardening that you might do. So I really like that one. So talking about permaculture, this one is by Pippa Chapman. It's called The Plant Lover's Backyard Forest Garden. And you know I'm totally into permaculture and polyculture and forest gardening and all these kinds of things. And I think of my front garden as a front garden food forest. And so this one is a little bit more about garden design as well. And actually, I just flicked then, I saw lasagna bed, which was one of the questions that we had last week when we were talking about no dig. And I really like Pippa Chapman and her content anyway. She is the person that I originally got my Taunton kale cuttings from. She was selling them on eBay. And so I was glad to kind of buy her book and support her as well. But yeah, I found this a book that you could read cover to cover and found really interesting all the way through. The other book that I was going to mention was the one I showed last week, which was the climate change book, Gardener's book. And I think is not only another book that you can read cover to cover, but a very important book as well. I have one more book, Claire, if that's okay. Because this is one I've also mentioned before, which was the seasonal guide to the year, the almanac. And this one, so this is by Leah Leendertz, and I showed 2025s, but I've already got 2026.
Wow.
And it's all woodland theme this year. So last year it was kind of cosmic-y kind of themed, and this year is woodland. And I buy Liam's mum one of these each year. So I got myself a copy and I got one for her. But this is the book that has the gardening by the moon phases. And I did wonder if that was only last year's because it was cosmic-y, but it has that in here as well. So the biodynamic gardening calendar is part of this book, but it's also just very beautiful, and it has like a poem for the month and a story for the month. It tells you the tides and you know, what kind of constellations to look for each year and each month, and all sorts of things. So yeah, I think that's a very nice gift. So one of the really popular things on the community page as a Christmas gift was the Hori Hori. Yes. Now, let's see. So Julie, Chrissy, Susan and Sue all have Hori Horis on their Christmas list. We both have a Hori Hori and are big fans.
Every gardener loves a Hori Hori, don't they? So yeah, definitely one
it's
to order.
My go-to tool. It really is. And I have, because I broke mine, didn't I? When I was trying to harvest garlic out of the front garden, and it snapped, and I was just devastated. But Geppetto is the brand that I had. I got in touch with them, and the customer service was excellent, and they sent me a replacement because they don't want their tools to be
No.
snapping. And they actually sent me the replacement to an upgraded
I was going to
Hori
say, if
Hori
you're
as well.
buying one, because you can buy it where the blade is just in the end, and they're the
yeah.
ones that snap, or the one
Yeah.
where, like mine and yours, you can see the blade goes all the way through the handle as well.
Yes.
It's one piece of metal. So
I
if you're
think if
buying
you're
one, it's worth. I know it costs a bit more, but it's honestly worth it, because they're not actually designed to be dug with. The way that people keep digging like this, they're not designed to be
the way
leveraged
I
on.
do.
The idea is that you sort of stab, for want of a better phrase, into the
Yeah.
ground like this and pull like that, not leverage. But everyone is going to do
Yeah.
that. So knowing that they're all going to do that, do buy the upgraded version.
I would say if you're sort of thinking you're just going to do light work with one, then the half one would be a bit lighter also to
Yeah.
hold. But certainly the way I use it, which, you know, is entirely levering, then you do want the blade that goes right to the end. And I like that I have the serrated edge on mine, although you were saying with being left-handed, you
It's
had to
on
be
the,
careful.
when I'm doing that and planting, and you get the hand in with you. So you're cutting the hole, and especially when you're planting the little teeny tiny things that you're planting out, not so much if you're planting something bigger, but you kind of all do it in one go, don't you? Sort of move the soil, put it in, and like this, and the knife's still there, but the serrated edge is sitting against my right hand when I'm doing that. Whereas for you, you're doing that, and the non-serrated end is by your left hand. You have to just be careful with them. They are sharp, you know, they you could do some damage with them, but they are absolutely invaluable piece of kit. And I mean, talking about tools, there's loads of tools. I mean, you know, I'm a big advocate for the Wolf Garden tools, because it's just so easy to have the stale and then be able to put whatever attachment you want on the end. It just means you don't have to carry quite so many tools about, and the cost of quite so many tools. That said, the attachments aren't cheap. So a lot of people would say that it's as cheap to buy individual items than it is to buy the Wolf Garden tools, but it's space for storage as well. You know, I can store a lot more of the attachments on the end than I can an individual item of everything. And I do have something that I've already treated myself to, because my bypass secateurs that I love, and you've got the same variety, the Carter's ones, no longer made. I can't find them. And I've left them outside. I've left them out. One pair's missing. So it's probably in the bottom of the compost bin. It's probably got tipped in. And the other pair I accidentally left outside, and they've gone quite stiff. So they need to be soaked in something, but I still need to use them. I've got so much to do. So I spotted Wolf Garden secateurs. So I have actually bought myself some more secateurs this week as well. Again, not a bargain, but I did buy them to replace them. But, you know, always can deal with some tools. You know, you need more than one set of secateurs, especially if you're gardening in different areas. You know, if you want to leave a set at the plot in your back garden, I've got some. We have a little outside toilet on the farm that's just outside our back garden gate. So if I want to do anything in our little garden where this garden room is, then it's a long walk round onto the plot to go and pick up my secateurs. So there's some little snips and secateurs in there, a little trowel in there. You know, as much as you think, oh, they'll already have a trowel, I'm telling you now, more than one trowel is really, really handy, especially if you're someone like me that likes to stick them in the end of the bed and misplace them for months on end.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to with the Hori Hori, is that the broken one I keep on the plot because it's still very usable. And then my nicer one I keep in the home garden. But I'm the same, because those Carter secateurs, which are pretty good, but I got those for a real bargain. I got those off of eBay, didn't I?
Yeah.
And in fact, it was even more of a bargain because they sent me the wrong ones. And then they sent me the ones that I actually wanted to replace them. So I got 2 pairs in the end. You mentioned the wildlife camera earlier, and I was thinking about gifts for wildlife as well. So things like bird houses and hedgehog houses. My aunt once got me an insect house, which is now up on the plot. So I think those can be nice sort of gifts. You were talking about seed storage as well.
Yeah, and I think the gold standard around YouTubers is to use these photo boxes, isn't it? So you buy photo boxes. I bought coloured ones. You can buy plain ones. These are a few of the inserts that go in them. You choose between either a 6x4 or a 7x5 photograph. I think these are 7x5s. And, you know, we keep our
Bigger the
seeds
better.
in these. Yeah, definitely. Because especially the peas and bean packets, they're
Yeah.
quite big, aren't they? So we use these to put our seeds in, to organise them. And then they come in a big case, which is just here, which is quite big. And so you can see that they would go in the case there. I've got quite a few out next to me.
Yeah.
I love that. That's revolutionized how I store my seeds.
Because you can get pretty boxes, can't you? And little tins and things,
And
which
I
are
have
nice.
those.
But I've never fit. And that's why I don't have the photograph cases, because I have so many seeds that they wouldn't fit in. And that's why I use big folders and I have them in a basket.
Yeah.
But I do think that is a great idea and a really nice way to organize your seeds. Now, you were saying about putting seeds inside, and of course, seeds in itself would be a gift. Do you think that's a good gift, Claire?
Absolutely. I mean, whether you want to buy someone a voucher for somewhere like King Seeds to buy their own seeds, or obviously anywhere that would sell seeds, whether you want to buy some seeds themselves and make up your own little hamper of seeds, maybe along with some gloves and secateurs or something like that, absolutely brilliant. But also seed subscriptions. There's plenty of seed subscription companies out there, especially the places like She Grows Veg. They sell some that are just slightly different
Rose
seeds
Garden
on.
Press, who I mentioned earlier.
Yes, and they're generally seeds that are not the run-of-the-mill seeds as well. So they're unlikely to have all of the varieties that those kind of companies would sell.
If you're a kind of seasoned gardener, you probably have like favorites, and you might already have all your seeds ready for next year. But I think somebody just starting out, one of those seed subscriptions would be really good. And then if you're not sure, one of the kind of gift vouchers, even better.
Yeah. And also a magazine subscription. So they usually come with seeds every month as well. Get a magazine dropped through your door with a few packets of seeds on every month.
Yeah, my cousin Becky, she has Gardener's World magazine on subscription, and it's something her husband gets her for Christmas or whatever it might be. I think she gets them in 6-month batches, and she loves it, absolutely loves it, that it comes through the door. She gets the free seeds on it as well, and she really looks forward to getting that. One of the other things that I was going to mention, well, is two parts. So like homemade gifts. So you had done the sloe gin before and gifted that. In fact, you gifted some of your sloe gin to me last year, and it was incredible. It was such a nice thing. I think I was just having it with soda water. It was just so lovely. But all sorts of like homemade preserves. So cowboy candy, obviously you're not going to give somebody half a jar that I've already eaten, but jams, things like that, and my ketchup.
Chutneys.
I sent you a ketchup, didn't I?
You
Chutneys.
did?
I always do a chutney for Liam's dad as well, and so that can make a really good gift, but so can the jars themselves. So you can get some very pretty Kilner jars and other brands, the Welk ones, and they can be expensive to buy. So as a Christmas gift, they might be quite good to get a few fancy jars. I had another one, Claire. This is a moisture meter. So if you're a houseplant person, I've got houseplants behind me. Let's see if Liam has watered his houseplants. So you stick this in. You're meant to actually, I don't know how many people know this, like just rub it on your jumper before you pop it in, get it a little bit warm and some friction, and then it goes into there, and you can measure whether your plant needs watering or not. And this is just in the moist range. So Liam's obviously been taking care of this plant. So that's very good. But I got one of these for my mom. I think Becky got one in the end as well. Love it. Use it all the time. So, and you can use it outside as well. So when I thought my greenhouse bed had gone hydrophobic, I stuck this in at various points and I could see that it was dry. So right down, and it was still dry in the bed.
But I have some advice for that, because I have one of those. Mine no longer works because I put it in the soil and left it there.
Yes,
so obviously, the probe on the end corrodes and then it no longer works.
Yeah, you've got to in and out. And what I tend to do when I water my plants is like go along and see which ones need it. So it prevents you overwatering as well. But yes, I always remember to take it out at the end. Don't leave it in the plant pot. The other thing that was similar to that is a temperature gauge for the greenhouse. So we've got the little electronic ones. I think you can get some actually really fancy ones.
I do have the fancy Govee ones that work with the
you
app
do.
in a box somewhere, a pack of 2.
Oh,
They
no.
were a Christmas gift. I've had them. I think that was 2 Christmases ago. I still haven't put them up.
Why?
I need
Why
to.
have you not?
Well, it was quite funny, really. The reason I didn't put them up, and I don't know what I've done with them, is because I had a spate of videos last year where I felt like I was copying everything that JB did. So we both put out a hanging basket video, our hanging polytunnel shelf videos within about 12 hours of each other. And there was all the bits and bobs that we were doing. And one of them was I was going to talk about my Govee thermometers. And then I watched his video and he was talking about his Govee thermometers. And I thought, this is looking beyond coincidence now, although it clearly was a coincidence. So I thought, right, I won't mention them for a bit. Well, then I clearly put them away somewhere, no idea where, and I haven't used them. But yeah, they run on an app, so you can keep the information. Whereas obviously the ones that we've got just have the minimum, maximum, and you can reset them in the current temperature. Whereas the Govee app will actually store that data, so you can look at the trend of the weather
that would be
for
nice.
years. So yeah, I mean, I love the idea of them, but I need to find them, because I don't want to have to buy them again or admit that I've lost them. So yes, I need to find them. And
you've had enough space since JB's video that you can do yours now.
Yes.
I don't think I had much other tech type things on my list. Obviously, we've talked about the harvest system and things recently. They would be big things to ask Santa for.
I have a stocking filler. I mean, obviously, we have mugs in the house, but I have a travel beaker, and I've had this for years since I went dog walking. But this travel beaker I specifically bought for dog walking, and the reason I bought it also transfers to gardening. A lot of the travel beakers, they have a bit on the top that you have to physically lift up with your hand before you start drinking. This works off a button. So you press the button and it opens the valve on the top. I mean, you can lock them, so then you would have to obviously press that, but it's not by where you're drinking from. So if your hands are dirty, muddy, for me, dog walking, obviously I've been picking up after dogs, you don't have to touch them. It's very hygienic, and these stay warm for the longest time.
Anyone who watches my channel will know that I am constantly with travel mug or thermos. Mine is Thermos, the brand Thermos, and it's the same. You have a button, and that one has a lid that flips open, and then a drinky kind of thing. I often actually pour into a cup anyway, because I like drinking out of a mug. But it's great for the car as well, because it'll fit in your holder and you can drink as you're driving. But those ones, I have one in green, one in pink, one in black. I just absolutely love them. They keep everything hot for absolutely ages. Sometimes I take them up at night, and then in the morning I've got a hot drink waiting for me by the bed. So yes, I am full on with the hot mug thing as well. I'm just looking through my list to see if I've missed anything that we had. Oh yes, I have. It's right here actually. And again, this is something that I've given to you, Claire. So I gave you some paper whites for your birthday. But other things you can get this time of year are the amaryllis, hyacinths, and you can grow these for Christmas. So I haven't started these ones yet, but now's the time, because I think generally you're looking at like 6 weeks. So this might be into January now. And I may have put several of them on my Farmer Gracie order. I think I've gone a little bit over the top. So some of these may have to be Christmas presents, because I bought far too many. And especially being in my video last week, I was like, I have far too many houseplants. And yeah, I've gone and bought all these amaryllis. But I had one last year for the first time. I've done paper whites before, but I had the Winston Churchill amaryllis last year, which is a really vibrant red. And it was stunning. And it was such a feature of the living room over Christmas and in the window. And of course, when the Christmas tree came down and things like that, you still had this really stunning plant. I usually get like poinsettias at Christmas, but I've completely swap those out for the amaryllis now. So yes, after having done one amaryllis last year, I've now gone berserk with amaryllises, and I'm going to have like 10 along my windowsill this year. But the good thing about them as well is that they don't need much to grow in, and you can save the bulbs for the following year. So I've still got the Winston Churchill one. I just let it dry out in the soil, brushed it off, and now I can replant that for this year as well. So it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Lovely.
We did have some suggestions. So we had secateurs from Siggy and Susan. So they agreed with you. And we did the Hori Hori. Now, this one was really popular, to have a delivery of manure or compost or wood chip. Now, I was like, it's hard for Santa to get that down the chimney, you know, if you have a bag of compost wrapped under the tree. But Kay Penrose, Rosemary, Debs, Liz, Anne all had that down as what they would want for Christmas. It's one of those things I think that you would ask for and somebody would roll their eyes or be like, what? Charissa said seeds as well, which we covered. Now, we haven't done this one. So Cousin Becky, but also viewer Smells Like Dirt, both said about a chipper or shredder.
Wow.
Now, Becky and I have been talking about this for a while, and it came up when we were talking about her wood chip paths again. She is desperate for a wood chipper. She's a good pruner. You know, she's got her pronabos. She prunes around that garden, and then that material either goes into the council waste bin to be taken away, or it gets piled around the garden, which is not a bad thing. I like having my dead hedges around the garden and stuff. But often I think you do this pruning and you look at it and you're like, if I could make that into wood chip, you know, or ramial wood chip, which you can use to mulch your beds, and it's really good for soil health. And so, I mean, it's high on my list, a wood chipper as well. I'm surprised you don't have one.
We do.
Oh, I've just never seen you use it.
But I've got one. Oh, I don't bother getting it out because I know it won't make a small dent in what I need. What I would use one for more than anything would be to chip up things to go in the compost to help them break down sooner.
Yeah.
I would use it more for that than I would for making garden stuff. I've got plenty of access to big stuff for that. We want to buy a big wood chipper that goes on the back of the tractor that can deal with bigger branches and things, that because I don't want twigs in the path. So most of the stuff I cut down is twiggy. I want bigger stuff in the chippers, and that wood chipper was amazing that the tree surgeons have. But you know, they're kind of family friends now, so they keep saying we can sort you out with wood chip in the future if you need some.
Those are the kind of friends you need. The friends with wood chip. I think we've covered Gary's, who wanted an idiot proof book. I think idiot proof, the month by month. Would you say? A nice, accessible book as well. Now, the most popular thing, and this may have been my fault for influencing, because I put on the poll, the top one was, what do you want for Christmas? A polycrub. It's on so many of our wish lists, isn't it? But I think this might have spurred people to think in greenhouse terms. So Siggy, Isabel, Sandra, Jill, Rosie Posey, Dee and Julie all said about either a greenhouse or like staging for a greenhouse, or like the automatic windows kind of thing for a greenhouse. So they were all looking at, undercover growing stuff.
Yeah, well, you can't go wrong with that. If you haven't got any space, I mean, what a gift would that be? But obviously, it doesn't have to be new. You could just promise to try and source one on Facebook Marketplace. And again, you could be giving your time and effort to agree to get one, dismantle it, make a space for it and build it and get it ready for the garden.
And it obviously going along with that. The elves can do. That's something the elves can do in my garden, is place my greenhouses.
So, I mean, you know, if you don't have space for a full greenhouse, but you've got some raised beds somewhere, then the mini polytunnel kits, they're compared to a greenhouse, they are inexpensive if you're buying a good solid glass greenhouse or safety glass greenhouse. But yeah, you know, one of those would be great, or even some cloche hoops. Invest in some of the cloche hoops for garden protection. They would be quite good as well. But I think going along with buying things like a greenhouse would be some propagation kit for people that want to start off seeds early in the new year. So obviously you can get a little propagator, some lights, grow lights and things. People don't always have that if they want to get into starting things off a bit earlier.
That's a lovely idea. I actually have a really nice, this is for propagating cuttings, and it's a little wooden bracket thing that you hang, and it's got little test tubes that you fill with
Oh,
water,
I've seen
and then
those.
you put your
Yeah.
cuttings in the top, and I have that hung in my kitchen, and I love it. It's really pretty, and every time I break off a bit of plant by mistake, I just stick it in one of these test tubes, and before you know it, you've got some root on, and you can pot it up. So yes, that was a good one. I wanted to just say about worst gifts, because we did ask this question on the community page, and most people said, what on earth would be a bad gardening gift? Every gardening gift's a good gift. But I have two, and the first one you can tell me off for, Claire. It's seed bombs. But particularly seed bombs that look like chocolate truffles. So Claire sent me a little box last year, and I was like, ooh, like this. And luckily she told me in time that they weren't in fact like lovely chocolate truffles, but were in fact seed bombs. My dad got me a little set, and it had cottage flour but seed packets, and that was what I sowed with some other stuff on my plot this year, and was absolutely fabulous. I've got another packet of those for next year, so I'm looking forward to those. But they came with, and I'll be interested to see what you think about this, novelty gloves and like a novelty little spade.
Yeah, I'd probably use them eventually as spares, but I mean, I have had things like that, and that's what ends up in the back garden. I mean, from a practical gift point of view, there's heated hand warmers, the USB hand warmers for people that are on the plot. You can get heated gilets. You can get some nice warm welly socks for people, or, like little galoshes for the shoes. There's lots of practical things. And also we have merch as well, don't we, Kerry? So,
I was just going to say, Claire,
gardeners
what would make a better gift
than
a
a
Sow
nice
Chatty
warm
hat?
And these are our two hats. Keep you nice and warm.
And obviously our mugs.
Hoodies. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can draw a Santa hat on if you want.
Yes. What am I going to draw on it next week, I wonder?
But Claire, we mentioned secateurs. We didn't mention the pronabos.
They are the best. They are. In fact, I've got some here.
I knew there would be there.
So yes, I mean, that's a pièce de résistance Christmas present. And, we've talked about these all year since we've had them, haven't we? They feature in nearly every episode. And I wasn't sure about these when we had them. I don't know if I would have taken the chance on them for the cost
the risk
of them.
on it. Yeah.
But having used them for the season now, they are more than worth the outlay. And I know it's expensive, but if you've got a very generous Santa in your house, then the Prunabo would be something that should be, or I think could be, on everybody's Christmas list.
Well, we had one person in the comments, Jennifer, who'd said, yep, Pronabos were on her Christmas list. But actually, one of our viewers will be getting a pair of Pronabos for Christmas, because that's our next giveaway.
Yes.
We are giving away a pair of PR50 Pronabos. So that is the Pronabo that does up to 5 centimeter cut, which is like a centimeter more than I think most any other brands do. It will come with the 2 batteries and an inner case. And we're really pleased to have partnered with Pronabo to give one of these away this year, because clearly we are in love with our Pronabos. We're massive fans of them. And we talk about them so much, it only seems right that we give back a little bit and offer a pair to one of our viewers. So what does our viewer have to do in order to be in with a chance to win the Pronabos, Claire?
If you want to win these, you need to comment on this video. I'm not going to do it on a community post this time. We need you to comment on this week's video if you want to win a Pronabo. And the main difference with this is that Pronabo do ship internationally. So this competition is not only open to the UK. This is open to all of the countries that Prunabo do indeed ship to. And I think we'll have a list of those in the description under this video to make sure that you're eligible.
Yeah, we'll put that in the description and all the terms and conditions for this particular giveaway. So all you need to do is comment on this video in order to be in with an entry. But we also need you to tag Prunabo in that entry so that we know that your comment is an entry. So you want to comment at Prunabo_US. Again, we'll put that in the comments and the description so that you know what to tag. And yeah, you just need to do that. And then you've got an entry and one of you will be winning one of these fantastic electric secateurs for Christmas.
I just think it's an amazing giveaway, and we're hoping to line up more giveaways as well, aren't we, Kerry? But this is a biggie, an absolute biggie. I'm so delighted that Prunabo are partnering with us for this one.
So we've kind of talked about Christmas presents for an awfully long time, Claire, but I did promise some viewers' questions. So we're just going to take one viewer question, and I picked the one that is time sensitive. This is from Julie. She says, my question is, will my garlic still sprout if it's in the greenhouse in the shade? My garden won't get direct sun until next year now. When the sun does make it round to the garden, she's going to transplant them outside into somewhere sunny. Do you think they'll just rot if they're in the shade in the greenhouse? She's trying to ventilate it. Would there be something else that you would do instead?
I think if that's the only space that you've got for them, then that is the only space. I don't think that they'll not germinate. It's just whether I don't know whether they go leggy. I've only ever grown them directly in the ground. I've never sown them anywhere else or planted them anywhere else before. But I probably would still plant them in the garden, even though the garden is in shade.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a place to transplant in the garden. Why not to put them there immediately, unless it's like rodents might dig them up or something like that.
Maybe,
But of course, garlic starts its growth with its roots.
Underground,
Yeah, and when I plant garlic, often late, as I will be again this year, the shoots don't actually come up until well into the new year. We both got worried, didn't we, last year that our garlic had just rotted away because they took so long to shoot.
I mean, I planted mine on the 30th of October and they haven't come up yet. So, you know, I'm not worried about how long they're spending without any access to light. You know, I'm pretty certain, like you say, they're putting roots down and they'll come up early in the new year. So yeah, go ahead, Julie. If that's all you've got for them, if that's the only setup you have for them, then yes, do it, because I would think it's probably better to get them started than it is to leave them.
Yeah. Okay, teasers for next week then, Claire. What are you up to?
Well,
the little bits of sunshine we have.
Little bits of sunshine. There's a little bit more clearing away to do, definitely. And I need to have a look at the fig tree. I need some help with the fig tree. What about you? What's your teaser?
Well, I've just got to get on with clearing this plot, haven't I? I've got to find when the sun is out or when it's not out, it's just got to be done. So yeah, there are broken arches to clear away and lots of foliage, dead foliage to get rid of.
Are you not asking Santa for some more archways for Christmas?
Oh, that's a good one, isn't it? I'm certainly not asking him for those ones.
No.
I shall never be buying those flimsy arches ever again. Never, Claire, don't let me. I say that having two sitting in the greenhouse that are still in the boxes. I'm going to see if I can return those, Otherwise, our teaser for next week's Sow Chatty is winter projects.
Yes.
So those fit quite well. Okay. Claire, as always, fantastic to spend some time with you. I'm really looking forward to Christmas now. Feeling a bit more Christmassy after that.
I'm feeling so festive.
Hang on. I had two more things that I had sitting here that I forgot about. And how can I not mention the arnica?
Yes.
I mean, if there's anything we talk more about, or me at least, than Pranabos, it's arnica. Arnica oil is now my new thing to give everybody. Claire already knows this. She got a bottle for her birthday.
Thank you.
I've also got this bubble bath, which is arnica and seaweed, this Neil's Yard one. And that smells amazing. It's lovely in the bath. In a hot bath after a long day at the plot. There we go. I think we've got them all in now, Claire. We've covered absolutely everything that anyone could ever want for Christmas.
I think we've done really well. I think we have. I'm hoping that we've given everyone lots of inspiration, be they the present giver or the present receiver. And obviously, do not forget that we are giving away a set of these Prunalbo. So please do comment on the video if you'd like to enter that competition. I'm looking forward to next week, Kerry. I will see you then, and we'll see all of you then as well. Take care. Bye.
Bye.